We really need to talk about Dave Chappelle's recent comedy show on Netflix, The Closer. The Closer came out on Netflix on October 5th, and in it, Dave Chappelle spent 20 minutes of the hour-long special talking about trans people in a very derogatory, transphobic way. He reduced us down to our genitals, he called us many names, and he aligned himself with J.K. Rowling and self-claims the term TERF, Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist. After Netflix released The Closer, many Netflix employees and many large names in the trans community called them out and asked them to remove The Closer because of its transphobia and because Netflix has claimed many times to be an ally to the LGBTQIA+ community. CEO of Netflix, Ted Sarandos, responded by saying that they do not allow titles on Netflix that are designed to incite hate or violence, and they don't believe The Closer is one of those. Ted continued by saying that he recognizes that distinguishing between commentary and harm is challenging, especially with stand-up, because it exists to push boundaries. He says that most of our members enjoy it, and it's an important part of our content offering. Well, many of us did not enjoy it, Ted. Many people called out Ted for his gaslighting in that message, including Tara Field, a transgender software engineer at Netflix. I highly recommend you read her thread on Twitter because she makes some really important points. This tweet is probably one of the most important. This is not an argument with two sides. It is an argument with trans people who want to be alive and people who don't want us to be. Tara continues by explaining the very real dangers of transphobic jokes because most people do not know a trans person in real life, and so all of the education they have on the trans community is through the media, including these very insensitive jokes. Who does this harm? All of the transgender people that were murdered this year. If you follow Netflix's LGBTQIA+ account on Twitter or on Instagram, then you would have seen them all call out the company as well. Tara, along with two other employees from Netflix, were suspended for calling them out. They were luckily reinstated, but it was ridiculous that they were fired to begin with. Now, I want to be clear that I do not believe in cancel culture. I do believe, however, that Dave Chappelle, Netflix, and Ted Sarandos should be held accountable, and I would like to invite them to a conversation to be educated on how to do better and how this truly affects the community in such a negative way. I would like to personally thank everybody who has been calling out this transphobia, including Ashley Marie Preston. I very much agree with the sentiment. He shouldn't be canceled. He was invited to a conversation, and unfortunately, he has refused it. There is now a company-wide walkout planned for October 20th for all of those who support the transgender community.